Welcome to The Explainer. Laos is absolutely famous for its misty mountains, stunning golden temples, and this wonderfully slow pace of life that just feels ancient, almost untouched. But here's the thing. Navigating the modern reality of 2026 travel logistics to actually experience that deep tranquility, well, it can be a bit of a complex puzzle, right? So today, I'm going to take you through the ultimate blueprint for a completely hassle-free adventure in Laos. We're giving you all the tools you need to explore this truly fascinating country. Okay, let's look at our agenda for this explainer. First up, we'll tackle entry visas and digital forms. Second, we're cruising the famous Mekong slowboat. Third, we'll be exploring the rugged Bolivian Plateau. Fourth, we'll cover essential Laotian cultural etiquette. And finally, number 5, we'll go over the strict safety and legal rules you need to know. All right, let's dive right into Section 1, Entry Visas and Digital Forms. I know. Paperwork is literally the least exciting part of traveling. But getting these logistical friction points out of the way early, that builds a rock-solid foundation for an incredible trip. The entry process has actually become incredibly streamlined if you just follow these 3 steps. First, check your exemption status. If you do need a visa, move to Step 2 and apply for the $50 e-visa online. It usually takes about 3 business days to process. But hey, the absolutely crucial point here is Step 3, the new LDIF, or Lao Digital Immigration Form. As of September 2025, this digital form is completely mandatory. It entirely replaces those old paper arrival cards. So, make absolutely sure you fill it out online and have that confirmation ready to show the officers when you land. Let's quickly double back to that exemption status, though. If you hold a passport from one of these places, neighboring ASEAN nations, Japan, South Korea, Switzerland, Luxembourg, or Mongolia, you can likely skip the visa process entirely for a short stay. Pretty lucky. For everyone else, you'll need that $50 e-visa we just talked about, or a visa on arrival, which usually runs somewhere between $30 and $45, plus a couple of passport photos. Moving right along to Section 2, Cruising the Mekong Slowboat. Let's look at the romantic, yet, let's be honest, slightly gritty reality of this famous 2-day river journey from northern Thailand right down into the heart of Laos. Picture this. Your alarm goes off at 5 a.m. in Chiang Rai, Thailand. You jump in a van, cross a pretty chaotic border into Hua Sai, and by 10:30 a.m., you are actually drifting down the Mekong River. Fast forward about 6 hours on the water, and you stop at 5 p.m. to spend the night in a small riverside town called Pak Bang. By the way, the Mekong Riverside Lodge is a great spot to rest up there. The next day, you're back on the boat bright and early by 9 a.m., and you finally pull into the stunning UNESCO heritage city of Luang Prabang by 4:30 in the afternoon. So, the big question, is this slow boat for everyone? Let's weigh the pros and cons. On the plus side, you get 13 total hours of absolutely breathtaking Mekong scenery. You'll meet tens of fellow backpackers, and it is incredibly budget-friendly. To put it in perspective, a combined ticket that includes your transfer from Chiang Rai is only about 40 euros on platforms like 12Go Asia. The downside? Well, the seats are pretty cramped. There is 0 onboard entertainment, and yeah, you're just sitting on the water for 13 hours. So my advice, definitely pre-download some shows on your phone and for sure bring a good book. All right, on to Section 3, Exploring the Bolivian Plateau. We are shifting the pacing entirely here, from kicking back on a lazy riverboat to rugged, fast-paced motorbike adventures up in the cool, coffee-scented southern uplands. Look at how active you can get here. You've got the towering Tad Phane Waterfall Trail, the amazing swimming spots at Tad Young, and these incredible local coffee plantations around Pak Song. Lots of travelers actually use Tad Lo Village as a base camp to ride a multi-day motorbike loop. Oh, and a quick but super vital tip, if you're hiking Tad Phane, start the trail before 7 a.m. It's the only way to beat that midday heat. Also, try to avoid the rainy season from May to October entirely if you want safer trails and clearer views. So, what does this upland adventure actually cost? $25. That's the highly practical 2026 budget reality for hiring a certified local technical guide for the entire day. Especially for the challenging technical terrain around those Tad Phane waterfalls, paying $25 for a guide is just an absolute no-brainer for your safety. And to get around the plateau itself, it's just $15 a day for a motorbike rental in Pak Song. But please remember this one thing, bring plenty of physical cash. Those small coffee villages and local roadside markets, they rarely accept credit cards. And trust me, you definitely don't want to miss out on fresh local brews just because you only have plastic in your wallet. Next up, Section 4, Essential Laotian Cultural Etiquette.
Let's bring this explainer back down to a grounded human level. Laos is a deeply traditional Buddhist nation, and understanding these customs isn't just, a polite suggestion. It's completely non-negotiable if you want to be a respectful guest. Let's dive into the nop. This is done by pressing your palms together at chest level and slightly bowing your head. It's the traditional greeting. What you really need to know is that it's always initiated by the person of lower social status. Using the nop is a brilliant, simple way to show immediate respect to your hosts, to elders, and to monks. And remember, the higher your hands are, though actually scratch that, never above your nose, the more respect you're showing.
Now, one of the most critical physical boundaries in Laotian culture involves the head, which is absolutely sacred. It's considered the seat of the soul. Because of this, you must never touch someone's head, not even playfully patting a child on the head. In complete contrast to that, the feet are considered impure and the lowest part of the body. You must never point your feet at people, at monks, or at any Buddha images. Honestly, it's an incredibly common faux pas for tourists, but now you know to watch out for it.
When you're visiting these beautiful temples, you absolutely have to follow the dress code. Your shoulders and knees must be covered, and you must always take your shoes off before entering a building. If you're interacting with monks, always make sure you're sitting lower than they are. And guys, this next one is a very strict rule. Women must never touch a monk or hand anything directly to them. Always use a male intermediary or just place the item down on a surface. And finally, always ask for permission before taking photos. It's just common courtesy. Now, let me ask you a question. When you sit down for a traditional communal Laotian meal, how do you properly eat sticky rice? I mean, it's the absolute staple food of the country, but there are very intimate, specific customs you need to follow at the table. Any guesses? All right, imagine you're at the table right now. Step 1, always wash your hands first because you'll be eating with them. Step 2, and this is critical, use your right hand to take a portion and roll it into a little ball. The left hand is considered unclean, so keep it far away from the communal food. Step 3, when you're done taking your rice, put the lid back on the bamboo basket. Leaving it off is actually considered bad luck. And step 4, leave just a little bit of food on your plate at the end of the meal. Why? Because a completely clean plate tells your host they didn't feed you enough. Nobody wants to send that message. And finally, Section 5, strict safety and legal rules. I want to shift the tone to be very serious for a moment here. While Laos is incredibly welcoming and peaceful, it's also a country with absolute non-negotiable laws and lingering hazards that you simply cannot afford to ignore. First off, Laos has a strict zero-tolerance policy for drug possession and trafficking, and we're talking severe penalties here, up to and including the death penalty. You might occasionally see unregulated restaurants offering quote-unquote happy or special menus. Do not consume these. They are illegal and highly dangerous. Tragically, in late 2024, several tourists actually passed away from methanol poisoning in Vang Vieng after consuming unregulated substances. The crucial takeaway here is to stay vigilant and prioritize your own safety above all else. There is also a very real physical danger in certain landscapes. Laos is still dealing with the severe risks of unexploded ordnance, or UXOs, left over from historical conflicts. This is especially true in areas like Xiangkwang and along the old Ho Chi Minh Trail. This is exactly why you must never, ever leave marked paths when you're hiking. Sticking to the designated trail isn't just a polite suggestion, it is quite literally a matter of life and death. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. As modern conveniences like the digital LDF form and faster transit routes fully enter Laos in 2026, how will these deeply rooted, ancient traditions evolve? And more importantly, as you explore the Misty Mountains and the majestic Mekong for yourself, what role will you play to ensure you leave a positive impact as a respectful guest? It's a fascinating question, and it's one I hope you carry with you on your journey. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy travels!